Morning. Good morning. Gee, it's great to start your day with Coffee with Karma. And I'm Karma. Today we're going to talk about how and why memoirs can elevate your brand so that it is more attractive to clients. My name is Carma Spence, and I help executive coaches, consultants, business leaders write, publish, and market client attracting books so that they can grow their business. Now, a memoir is kind of a two-edged sword because some people are really attracted to the idea of writing a memoir. They feel like their life has a story to share. And others are more reticent because they feel like, well, I'm nobody. Who wants to read my story? And both of those are right for the same person because, yeah, there are going to be people who don't care about your story. I mean, there are people. Britney Spears just recently came out with a memoir, and it didn't do well because there are a lot of people who just don't care about Britney Spears, and she's a famous person. So, yeah, there are going to be people who don't wanna read your memoir, but your ideal clients are going to be attracted to your memoir. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about 5 different ways that a memoir can enhance your brand so that it is more attractive to your ideal clients. And they're the only ones who matter. You don't care about all those people who don't care about you. So let's go into the five ways that a memoir can attract clients and elevate your personal brand. Number 1, memoirs humanize a brand. When you are the brand, it can be easy to start feeling a little bit more corporate. Like I could just be coffee with karma. And then I would just be like this mug over here or this mug over here, and you wouldn't get to know me. But I am a brand. And for many entrepreneurs, including a lot of business leaders and executive coaches, you are your brand. And when you publish a memoir that talks about your life and how it applies to your business and what you help your clients with, then it makes your brand more human, more relatable. People will read your memoir, they'll hear your voice in their head while learning more about you, and if they like you or they like the way you think, which is not necessarily the same thing, they are gonna be more attracted to your brand. Number 2, your story differentiates you in a crowded market. So, 2 people can be talking about the exact same thing, but they approach it differently because they are different people. And that's why they attract 2 different audiences. It's like the tale of 2 coaches or the tale of 2 whatever. It doesn't matter. Your memoir, your story says something about how you approach what you do for your clients. And the right clients are gonna be attracted to your particular way of being, your particular way of doing, and a memoir helps them understand what that is, therefore, making you stand out to your ideal clients, not to everybody, but to your ideal clients. Number 3, stories build trust faster than traditional marketing. So, one of the things that made Folgers coffee become so popular, I think it was in the mid to late '80s, was because they had a series of commercials that felt like a soap opera. It was this woman and the guy in the commercial was who went on to be, the Watcher in Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show. But it was like this romance all over Folgers coffee. Were they gonna get together? Were they not? You wanted to see the next commercial, and you had so that meant you had to watch more TV, which made the people who accepted Folgers advertising happy so that you could watch the next Folgers commercial. Um, Not too long ago I think it was Friskies, Fancy Feast did a similar thing with a series of commercials about cat food that featured a fluffy white cat that the boyfriend gave the girl, which won her heart, and then eventually they got married, and they moved into their house, and then they had a baby, and the little fluffy white cat was there all along being fed Fancy Feast. I will admit that some of those commercials made me cry. Stories build trust, they build interest, they bring people in, we're hardwired for story, and a memoir is automatically a story compared to any other business book. Not that other business books don't contain stories, but they aren't a story. A memoir is a story, and therefore it really draws your readers and your ideal clients in. Number 4, memories, help clients see themselves in your story. So when you're telling a story about something that happened in your life, most of the time, the people who are reading it are going, "Oh, yeah, I had a similar experience." So I could tell a story about how I was riding my bike one day. Our babysitter and my sister and myself were going for a walk around the neighborhood, and I was riding my bike, and there was a cemetery that was behind our house, so we often would go for a walk through the cemetery. And the cemetery pathways were lined with shale, which is a rock. And I'd gone down a little hill, and boy, that was fun. So the next hill, it was even longer. It looked like it was gonna be really fun. Not what happened. What happened is I lost control of my bike on the way down, fell, and I scraped myself from, like, here all the way up to here. I still have a scar from it. Oh my gosh, did it hurt all the way home. Now, as I tell the story, are you remembering a time that maybe you fell off your bike? Maybe you're remembering a time that you had a really bad sore and it hurt really bad. Believe me, as I was telling the story, there are people in my audience who have had a similar experience. Maybe that's you. And by telling my story, I'm drawing you in to your story. Now, obviously, in a memoir that is intended to attract ideal clients, you're going to want to tell stories that are related to your business. At some point, I might be able to spin this one to be related to my business. I'm not thinking along those lines at the moment. So, but there you go. Your memoir draws people in. And as you tell stories about your life, people see themselves in your story. Number 5, a well told memoir strengthens your brand's emotional impact. This is related to number 1, which was memoirs humanize your brand. When your memoir is good and it tells a very targeted strategic story from your life and connects a before to an after that you want to lead your clients through, it galvanizes them around your brand. Um, it strengthens it not only strengthens your brand's attractiveness, but it also makes it more emotionally resonant because now there's a human aspect to it. And this goes for biographies and autobiographies as well. Memoirs are just the difference between a biography slash autobiography and a memoir is that a memoir takes only a piece of someone's life and tells it in a story format. So it's like fiction, but it's not. So it's what's called creative nonfiction. Whereas a biography or autobiography is usually much more factual, much more straightforward. There will be stories, but it's not one overarching woven story other than this is the person's life and these things that happened during it. A memoir is saying, okay, I had this experience, and this is how this experience applies to other people. So, for example, I'm actually working on it's less a memoir, but it's got memoir aspects of it called Whale Falls. And it's taking my experience of my little sister's death and using the analogy of a whale falls when whale falls in the ocean below the light, an entire ecosystem forms around that whale's body, and there are actual life forms deep in the ocean that go from whale fall to whale fall to whale fall in order to survive, and without those whale falls, they would not survive, they'd go extinct. So, I'm using this as an analogy that there are blessings in every sorrow, and so there is an aspect of memoir in there, my personal journey, but I'm using it to help other people who are dealing with life struggles, often the death of a loved one. I've experienced enough of those, I'm going through one right now, and, using when you can see the silver lining, it helps you get to the other side of that morning. And so I'm using a memoir to help others deal with life challenges. That's that's something a memoir can do. It can help people deal with the things that you dealt with without having to go through what you went through. So there you go. 5 ways that a memoir can enhance your brand. Now, if you would like to learn a little bit about a actual memoir, then tune in at 3 PM Central today on YouTube, or you can just listen to it because the audio is already live, um, on my website, theauthorswitch.com. The latest episode of that podcast is an interview with Jenny Jing Ju, who is the founder of Lush Decor, and she has written a memoir called Dreamweaver that shares her fascinating and interesting life, and she shared some of it with me on the podcast. That the video goes live at 3 PM Central, but the audio is now live on my website, so you can listen to it. And if you want the link to that, just drop Jenny in the comments below, and I will send you the link. I will see you on Wednesday when I'm gonna be talking about 5 reasons your memoir is the best marketing tool for CEOs. See you Wednesday. Ciao for now.